What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? Isaac Edelman here alongside Naji Tobias. This is a special New Era Prep episode. It's special because we got two West Boca athletes, but it's special because they're related and it's their first ever online interview together. It's the Mallory cousins, Mason Mallory, the quarterback, and Javian Mallory, the running back. Mason, how are you doing today? And after you speak, we'll go to Javian.
Doing great, doing great. Excited. Thank you. I'm thankful for you guys having me on the show and all. I'm ready to answer some questions.
We're going to start with Javian. How does it feel being ranked as the number one overall player in the class of 26 for Palm Beach County?
It's a blessing. It's something that I've been working for a long time. Putting in the work, hours and hours, day after day, and seeing the rankings come out. I definitely feel like I earned it and I worked for it. So it's just a blessing.
Mason, number three in the class of 26 for Palm Beach County. How do you honestly feel about that?
You know, it's good to see the work you put in pay off. I'm new to the football scene a little bit, so it's good to be getting this type of recognition, knowing I haven't been doing it for as long as maybe others have been. But I'm still trying to continue to climb, and you never know.
And then one other thing. So we both have you two in the top three. So Javen's number one, Mason's number three. We've had some coaches give us some feedback, and they were basically telling us that there should have been more West Boca players in the top 10, not just you two. I want you guys to talk about that because we had some coaches saying that New Era Prep actually disrespected West Boca Raton. Yes, they did say that.
Yeah, so definitely us West Boca, we're a very young team, very, very young. So we have a lot of studs in the 26 class, even 27 class. So there's a lot that definitely should be in at least the top 15 for rankings. And this year, I feel like they're going to get the chance to prove themselves after this year. And we'll definitely see where it goes from there.
Um, I know the answer to this, but just for the viewers, I know a lot about you guys, but Javian, talk about the West Boca culture. I know Coach Potts is one of my favorite guys to speak to, just be around, but you guys get to spend more time with him on the football field. Javian, just what's the interaction with you and Coach Potts daily on game days, on practices, or just over text?
I love what Coach Potts is doing. He's changing the culture and creating a standard over here at West Boca. And I feel like Coach Potts is the guy that you could go to whenever you're in trouble, whenever you need somebody to talk to. He's like another parent. That's something that my parents always been saying, that they're thankful to have Coach Potts in my life, and he's definitely been a great role model for me and these other players around us.
And Mason, obviously, you, same as Javian, probably have the same thoughts on Coach Potts, but you mentioned something that I knew about, but I don't think many people know about. You said you were new to the football scene. People are probably like, what? Talk about your basketball, because I don't think many people know you were a basketball star, more than a football star, just
Yeah.
a few years ago.
So, growing up, most of my family, they did play football. Both my cousins, my dad, my uncles, they all played football. But me, I played basketball. I was really, not to toot my own horn, but I think I was one of the top basketball players in the class. And, I decided to give football a chance, I want to say 3 years ago. And my
Wow.
first full season of football was actually freshman year of high school, which people find hard to believe because of the success I've had. But I think it's just I've obtained a work ethic with just playing sports and being around my family and the culture, and it just translated well over to football. And I think the success people are surprised, but I knew it was gonna happen. I knew I was definitely built for this.
I have not been to West Boca yet, but that's going to change next week. So I'm really excited about coming to West Boca next week to check you guys out at practice and at your game against Port St. Lucie. But from what I've been hearing from all accounts, Coach Potts has actually built a family, so much so that we feel like we're a part of his family, everybody here at New Era Prep. So I want you to talk about the family culture that he has actually built at West Boca.
Uh, you know, Me and Javian, we're obviously related by blood, but a lot of my teammates I consider definitely my brothers. Like in school, we're basically inseparable. Off the field, on the field, we have this connection, and I think that helps with our play as well. Being one with each other, whether it's okay, so we studied this, we know each other's go tos and don'ts and do's and all that. So us being one big family and the way Coach Potts coaches definitely helps for our success.
Javian, talk about your running back coach. He's also related to you by blood. He's your uncle. Talk about Coach Rich.
Coach Rich is a great guy. We have a pretty deep running back room this year, and every day he tells me to help out the young bulls, make sure the young bulls are straight. That's just shows what type of guy he is. He makes sure that we're all straight. One eat, we all eat, and he's just a very important piece to the puzzle that we have at West Boca.
And Mason, I know you love slinging the football, but what type of pressure is relieved when you have a running back like Javian, who's your cousin, just run the ball so well? Because that obviously opens the floodgates for you to throw the ball because the defense
Yeah.
doesn't know what to do. Do they stop Mason Mallory or do they stop Javian Mallory?
That's one big key asset to this offense is Javian's ability to not only run the ball, pass, block, catch out of the backfield, go to slot and catch. He knows the whole route tree, all our plays, every position, the blocking, what the defense is going to be in, their fronts, their formation. So, having such a smart and intelligent running back like that not only makes my job easier, but makes Coach Potts and everybody else on the field's job easier.
One thing that is really starting to emerge here at West Boca, in addition to what both of you have contributed and brought to the team, we're seeing the emergence of a great offensive line. I'm loving everything that I'm seeing from afar with that development. I want you guys to talk about your offensive line and how they help keep you both upright.
I'll go. Our offensive line, if you look at last year's film and compare it to this year's film, our offensive line is 10 times better. And I feel like a big part of that has to go with Coach Tuesday, our online coach. He works with them boys day in and day out, getting the best up out of them, making sure that they straight. It's just Coach Tuesday, he's been through a lot in this program, and I know he just wants to see us all succeed.
Yes, most definitely. And, our offensive line is also surprisingly young. So the fact that they were able to pick up the information, keep me upright, keep JVN upright, it's very, very great to see, promising things in the future.
Mason, what I'm obviously I see you more than Javian in school. I don't know how, but it just happens. That's the truth. I, every single class period change at lunch before school starts, you're always hanging out with the players. Talk about the off the field scene with your teammates.
Yeah, as I said earlier, we basically are brothers, like blood brothers. Like nothing can separate us. No type of fighting. We may fight on the field, but when we're off the field, we're cool again. It's just the bond I built with them in this past year is insane. And I think I want to give hats off to Coach Potts as well because he makes sure that, we're always doing the right things together. If somebody needs help with homework, okay, ask your teammate. Somebody needs help with plays, ask your teammate. So that definitely helps us strengthen our bond together and now basically family.
Now, when it comes to the bonding, now I've just sensed that the bonding extends all the way to the fans as well.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
I'm told that you guys have one of the best fan sections in all of South Florida. We're going to get to see a little bit of that on Friday. Let's talk about your fans and how you guys are able to connect with them in game and in other settings.
All the fans love the football players. All the football players love the fans. During school, you'll see us. We'll chop it up with anybody. Anybody has any questions, we're more than willing to answer them. It's like the whole school is united once the football team's doing good, the whole school's doing good. So it's just one big family, not even just in the football program. Football programs were good, cool with other sports programs throughout the school as well. So the fan base is definitely another big part to our success because with that support group, definitely gives us that extra boost that we need.
I want to, before I say my next question, I want to just give my hats off to you guys and Coach Potts because you guys made my job easier. I know you guys obviously appreciate my content, but I appreciate you guys because I'm obviously a senior, right? You're a sophomore. I've been at West Boca longer than you guys. And when I was at West Boca, my first 2 years, we had a combined 1 win. So you guys could probably tell it wasn't fun for me to make content. And my name definitely wasn't put out there as much as it is now, thanks to you guys. So just what does this tell you? The fact that Isaac Edelman is saying that you basically turned his content from bad to good and you turned West Boca from bad to good. You guys, I know you're going to want to say your teammates did it, Coach Potts did it, but you're the stars of this team. Let's start with Javian. How does it feel to basically change the entire culture, the entire perception of this West Boca Bulls football team?
Like you said, it just wasn't us two. A lot goes on behind the scenes and on the field that helps us, make it seem like we're the stars. But we that's something that we've been doing for a long time. We've been winning, and we didn't expect to come to West Boca and lose. So just the mindset we put into our players, our teammates, the mindset the coaching staff has. I just feel like we all came together as one and realized, this is the era when West Boca is going to start winning again.
Man, I'm upset you guys weren't here during my freshman year.
So,
Yeah.
Go ahead, Isaac. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't say anything. You got it.
All right. So, with that, we got a great game coming up against St. Andrews. Let's talk about this week because you guys are trying to get that payback from last year. And
Yeah.
everybody wants to see what's going to happen in our game of the week. Talk about it.
Yeah, for us, we obviously have a lot of respect for St. Andrews. They have definitely a very well coached, very good squad over there. But we like to prepare for every game like it's the same game. Nothing special, nothing different. Obviously, this game last year, they definitely put it to us. It was a very bad loss, very embarrassing. So this year, we definitely want to come out with a little bit more fire, a little more energy, take this game kind of personal.
Yeah, like Mason said, this game's a little more personal for me. Last year I had versus St. Andrews, I had my worst ever football performance in my life. So this game, I got some feel to the fire.
Awesome. So I think we can expect a big performance. Javian, what is it like to be recruited heavily by college recruits, by coaches? Talk about the recruitment process. Obviously, if you don't know who Javian Mallory is, he has offers from Georgia, Miami, Ohio State, you name it. And then after Javian speaks, Mason, talk about your college recruitment process.
The recruitment process is fun. It's something that every kid dreams about as a kid. And, finally being able to go through the process, it's mind blowing. Visiting these different colleges, putting on their uniform, going to these games. It's been a very special experience for my family and I. And I just feel like the time is getting short and only a matter of time where I have to commit to a college soon.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting this type of, recruitment to happen in my career this early because knowing like last year was my first real full season of football. But definitely this has been a great experience, talking to all these different coaches, going to all these different colleges. When a coach comes to see you at the beginning of your freshman year and he's like, okay, well, we're looking at you. And then at the end of your freshman year, he finally decides to offer you. That's like the greatest thing ever to happen to you. It makes you want to work harder because it makes you want to look at all the coaches and the coaches to be like, yeah, this guy's the guy we want.
Do you guys have any visits scheduled during the fall, Javian or Mason?
Not scheduled, but I plan on going to Ohio State again. I want to go to check. I want to check out Tennessee and Oregon. Definitely gonna go to Florida State and Miami.
Yeah, not really planned, but I definitely want to go back to Ohio State, probably USF, and then back to the hometown school, FAU.
Mason, talk about FAU. They are obviously your local team. I'm sure you speak to them a lot. And I saw you at the FAU game last week. What is it like to have events like that, even if they're small, just to speak with a coach?
Oh yeah, one thing about me is I love brotherhood and connection in like a program. And I feel like FAU brings that. Like that's all they preach. All the coaches, I have great relationships with them. It's a great just environment over there at the games. The fans are loud cheering. I love everything they do over there at FAU. Beautiful campus as well.
Javian, which school has stood out to you the most so far out of all the schools you've talked to?
Right now, probably Ohio State.
Why Ohio State? Let's go into it.
Well, if you didn't know, Coach Tony Alfred, running back coach at Ohio State, was my uncle's running back coach at Washington, Richard
Wow.
Alexis. So just the early connection me and Coach Alfred built just off of that is very strong, and I he continues to I call him because the rules they can't call me till junior year, so I continue to call him. He picks up, we have conversations, and I just feel like the bond is getting stronger each and every day.
Yeah. You're probably already thinking about college, but you definitely can't take your minds off of West Boca's early season success and their high expectations. What do you guys need to keep on doing to make a playoff push? And it really isn't just to make a playoff push, it's to prove to the people in the 305 that, look, there's 561 teams that could literally stack up against the best of the best in the state and in the country.
Yeah, one thing we preach is never get too big headed. No matter how much media buzz, no matter what the fans say, we always have to stay level, cool at this, type of equilibrium because we know if we get too big headed, think we haven't really accomplished anything yet.
Yeah.
So in our eyes, we're still the same 6-4 team that barely missed the playoffs last year. So we definitely have a lot to prove. I know Javian has a lot he wants to prove as well, being that his season got cut short, unfortunately, early.
Yep.
And yeah.
And the whole lot to prove that you just talked about, Mason. We got some big games coming up, starting with week 6 against Deerfield Beach. So that's going to be the start of your district slate. And then you have games later against Coconut Creek and Ely. So, how do we prepare for those district games, which is going to ultimately determine your fate?
I definitely first I would like to say we definitely have one of the hardest districts, not only in South Florida but in
Yep.
Florida in general. But I think one thing we do need to do to prepare for these games is just make sure we have our base things impact, the stuff that makes West Boca football. Our play, if we just do what we do, we stay solid, stay disciplined, I think we're very well set. We have definitely the skill and all the talent in the world to beat these teams.
I want to wrap up on one final note from the both of you. We'll start with Mason. Mason, if you had to say something to someone that hasn't started football yet, but they're entering their high school football year, what motivation would you give them that they could still be the big thing? That you don't always have to start early. You could be a late bloomer.
Definitely, definitely have to work hard, whether it's in the weight room, on the field, and you don't have to always go to the biggest name school to make a name for yourself.
Yeah,
You,
exactly.
as you can see, me and Javian, we came to West Boca School that was previously 1-9 for the
Yeah,
past 2 years. If you really want it bad enough and you work hard enough, you can make a name for yourself wherever you go. So
very good.
just stick to your morals, work hard. Definitely listen to your coach because I think he knows what he's talking about. And keep God in your life for sure. That's number one. Keep God in your life. Keep faith.
And JVN, you were one of the best running backs in the nation. Yet, after you score touchdowns, when you're on the sideline, you're so humble. Talk about being so good at something, having a really good quality, but yet still staying humble.
I mean, that's something I've been taught at an early age. Remain humble because I could lose everything at any point in my
Yeah.
life. Like Mason said, my season got cut short. I feel like that's because I was getting a little big headed. I was, telling other people who I am, and I should have just, remained humble. So I feel like this season is it's a real get back season for me.
Last question for you both. What do you think is going to be the thing that keeps you all together through thick and thin? Because you will have moments of adversity, you will have challenges, but what will keep you together more than anything else?
I definitely want to say, if we just remain like we don't point fingers within our team and our family, and we may take a few losses here and there during the season, but if we take them together, we'll stick together and we'll bounce back for sure.
Thank you so much for taking your time to be with us tonight. And we're wishing you nothing but the best in our game of the week against St. Andrews.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming on, guys. And of course, I'll see you every day at school.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Thank you for having us.
You're welcome.